So then the other thing I watched, a real take a different gear, was Shogun.
Shogun. Oh.
It's the new miniseries on FX, airing also on Hulu.
Oh, it's only a miniseries? I thought it was a series.
I don't think so, but that maybe don't quote me on it. I think it's a 10-episode limited series on Hulu.
We are planning on watching it. I'm excited.
Holy moly. Be awake, first of all.
Okay.
Because, it's based on the original novel, 1975, and the author was James Cavell. And it's really about the Japans, is what they call it, and the discovery of it. I mean, the thing is, it was already discovered by the Portuguese Catholic in trying to convert the Japanese culture to Catholicism.
Oh, okay.
So this starts with a Protestant English arriving on the ship Aramis, which, of course, a very arduous travel to get there. Like, basically almost everybody's dead. It's a very small crew that arrives there. So there was an original series. I mean, I think we were all able to watch it in the 1980s, and it was the main character, John Blackthorne, was played by Richard Chamberlain, who was a big heartthrob in the 80s. So I think we were allowed to watch that, but we're very limited on what we're allowed to watch TV-wise. So we may or may not have been allowed to watch. I mean, we were watching it for the little crack in the stairs,
Oh, yeah, when you would lay down on the top of the stairs and look down.
I feel like we were allowed to watch it because that was like on just network television. And they just did, everybody spoke English.
Of course.
They're not doing that with this. They are speaking Portuguese. They are speaking Japanese. So it is, you are having, why I said like, be awake, is because you're having to read subtitles. Mm-hmm. It makes it more authentic. That is for sure.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And the casting is incredible. It is truly what you call an epic. So I guess they announced in 2018 they were going to do this series.
Oh, wow. 2018.
Now, yeah, but who knows with COVID and everything else? Because this is an epic. I mean, this was a huge undertaking for the production team because we're in 2024 and it's just airing. The cast is led by Cosmo Jarvis. He is basically the pilot, the English pilot. And that's what they call basically the navigator on the Dutch ship.
Oh.
I looked up his resume. There wasn't anything that stood out that was like, that's where you know him from. He has worked, but I feel like the last couple of years of his life has been devoted to this. I thought, wouldn't they have picked somebody that spoke Japanese? I mean, he arrives and it's like, wow. Because the Catholic hates the Protestants, and so...
Oh, you mean within the context of the story?
Yes.
This captain...
He's not a captain. He was the pilot.
Oh, the pilot,
that got them there to the Japan.
But he doesn't speak Japanese.
Holy crap. So neither does any of the crew. So they arrive, and it's like to arrive in like truly a foreign world, a foreign country, and to not know the language. You are relying on maybe someone translating you, maybe not accurately, and that'll have consequences.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Because, I watched a series, we were on a hiatus during this, but it was so well received, and it was The Blue Eye Samurai. And that's a Netflix animated series about like a samurai in the Japans. And they're calling it Japans, but we would just say Japan, okay?
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if is it because it's multiple islands?
Yes.
Is that why they're calling it
That's
Japans?
why this pilot's like, have I arrived on the Japans when he lands on what he is a fishing village. He's like, did we make it? And everybody's like, what are you saying? I don't understand you. But that animated series was very much about the white man was never allowed on that continent. And the few that did get through were usually trading goods, weapons as well, and what they were bringing. So it was interesting. I watched that before. It gave me some understanding about, that the Catholic Church arrived and was converting people and taking, the wealth of the nation as well and taking it back to Portugal. So the English were like, hi, we're Protestant and we hate you and we want this town.
Oh, wow.
So that's the crux of it. But they arrive at a really bad time because the Lord who oversaw these maybe 5 big families
in Japan
just died. And he assigned like basically a royal court or like because his son is too young to inherit the throne at this point. Mm-hmm. So A, got to keep the son alive, and B, you all got to get along until he's able to come to power. Do you think that's going to go over well?
No.
So when John Blackthorne arrives with his crew, thinking he's going to pull off some like, give me your wealth and fix my ship and I'll take off. Like, I don't know what he was thinking. Like
it's the colonizer mentality of like, I don't need to speak the language. We're just so superior. We're just going to show up and take over. It's going to be fine.
A great character is played by Nestor Carbonell. He is a very much a working actor. He plays a Spanish man who's already there, very much on the Catholic side. He was in Dark Knight, Bandit.
Isn't he in the morning show right now?
Yes.
Or recently in the morning show?
My husband was like, that can't be him. I'm like, it is him. He grew out his beard so far, it like distorts his face.
Oh.
But I mean, you probably weren't getting a good shave then. And he basically calls this guy out and he goes, you think they're savages? You think they're uncivilized? Yeah. Wait till we get to Osaka. You'll just, we're in the little fishing village. Yeah, I don't think you understand how far advanced they are as a culture. So it is so beautifully done. I'm sure some of it is CGI because hello, how else are you doing this? But it is so gorgeous. The acting, then on sort of the Japanese side, and I'm reading this book right now that talks about the families will have these. You may never, if you're a woman of a certain age, you may never leave the compound until you're married, and then you'll just go to the other compound. It's very insulated, and if you're sort of a royal family of that region, you never really leave your. Now, listen, it might be the size of a small city that we're all used to, but still, like, it's very confined, and you might be confined to a certain part of it. So now that these families are fighting over who will have control, it's really gone south. And the leader of this one family, he's a lord, is played by the amazing actor Hiroyuki Sanada. You might know him from some Marvel series.
He pops up everywhere.
He played
He's
The Last
amazing.
Samurai, John Wick, 47 Ronin, and Bullet Train. I mean, he's just a badass. So he is in it along with, there's a lady that you can see there's going to be chemistry between her and John Blackthorne. But she is able to speak his language and translate, which is good because you can only imagine the Catholic priests don't necessarily want to translate that accurately for a Protestant who they think is like a traitor and going to come here and try to convert people.
They don't want to be helpful, I imagine.
No. So that character I was talking about, the lady in waiting, is Anna Sawai. Gorgeous. So, I mean, casting-wise, that they actually speak Japanese, the sets, the costumes, it is an epic that, we don't often see on TV. It's like, those are like event watching. That's Game of Thrones. Like, we don't often see it. So thoroughly enjoyable, well worth it. Like I said, I was like, oh my gosh. I was saying to my husband, I think this is the same as the series I watched as a kid. And I remember like we had the novel like in our house at one point, probably paperback. So I'm like, wow, they're redoing this. What are they going to do with it? Highly recommend it.
Well, it's on
Shogun.
our list for sure.
Yeah.
John, is that something we're going to watch with you?
I mean, that was the plan.
I'm going to need you to read it to me because Eric does not love doing that. He gets so he's like, oh my God, this is exhausting. I'm like, I don't know. John seems to be able to do it.
Don't be rude. It's
I know.
fine.
No.
It will be because I'm telling you, I would say 75% of it is another language. So, like I said, it's not necessarily always Japanese. So they're also speaking Portuguese. I mean, they are speaking multiple languages.
They're mixing it up.
Yeah. Which leads a total authentic element to it and makes you realize how, like I said, arriving in this fishing village, basically almost starved to death, not knowing a language, I was like, did the translator die? What happened? No one spoke the language where you were being sent? Yikes. Okay.
To do the story accurately in that way, it seems like an important thing to do it in these real languages, not just...
Especially in today's times where we're trying to have more diversity, be more authentic. They're doing an excellent job.
All right, so Shogun.
Yes.
All right, cool.